Clarice was wearing the golden laurels, but she didn't even brag about winning them, which wasn't like her. "A hole?" she said suspiciously. Annabeth and I took a deep breath. She looked around at the other campers. "Chiron, we should talk about this at the big house." Clarice gasped. "You found it, didn't you?" Annabeth bit her lip. Yeah, we did." A bunch of campers started asking questions, looking about as confused as I was, but Chiron raised his hand for silence. "Tonight is not the time, and this is not the right place." He stared at the boulders as if he just noticed how dangerous they were. "All of you back to your cabins. Get some sleep. A game well played, but curfew is past." There was a lot of mumbling and complaints, but the campers drifted off, talking amongst themselves and giving me suspicious looks. "This explains a lot," Clarice said. "It explains what Luke is after." "Wait a second," I said. "What do you mean? What did we find?" Annabeth turned towards me, her eyes dark with worry. "An entrance to the labyrinth. An invasion route straight into the heart of the camp." Chapter 4. Annabeth Breaks the Rules. Chiron had insisted we talk about it in the morning, which was kind of like, "Hey, your life's in mortal danger, sleep tight." It was hard to fall asleep, but when I finally did, I dreamed of a prison. I saw a boy in a Greek tunic and sandals crouching alone in a massive stone room. The ceiling was open to the night sky, but the walls were 20 feet in polished marble, completely smooth. Scattered around the room were wooden crates. Some were cracked and tipped over as if they'd been flung there. Bronze tools spilled out of one, a compass, a saw, and a bunch of other things I didn't recognize. The boy huddled in the corner, shivering from the cold, or maybe fear. He was spattered in mud. His legs and arms and face were scraped up as if he'd just been dragged here along the boxes. Then the double oak doors moaned open. 2 guards in bronze armor marched in, holding an old man between them. They flung him open onto the floor in a battered heap. "Father!" The boy ran to him. The man's robes were in tatters. His hair was streaked with gray, and his beard was long and curly. His nose had been broken, and his lips were bloody. The boy took the old man's head in his arms. "What did they do to you?" Then he yelled at the guards, "I'll kill you!" "There will be no killing today." The guards stepped aside. Behind them stood a tall man in white robes. He wore a thin circle of gold on his head. His beard was pointed like a spear blade. His eyes glittered cruelly. "You helped the Athenian kill my Minotaur, Daedalus. You turned my own daughter against me." "You did that yourself, your majesty," the old man croaked. A guard planted a kick in the man's ribs. He groaned in agony. The young boy cried, "Stop!" "You love your maze so much," the king said. "I have decided to let you stay here. This will be your workshop. Make me new wonders, amuse me. Every maze needs a monster. You shall be mine." "I don't fear you," the old man groaned. The king smiled coldly. He locked his eyes on the boy. "But a man does care about his son, eh? Displease me, old man, and next time my guards inflict a punishment, it'll be on him." The king swept out of the room, and his guards looked back and then turned. The door slammed shut, leaving the boy and his father alone in the darkness. "What do we do?" the boy moaned. "Father, they'll kill you." The old man swallowed with difficulty. He tried to smile, but it was a gruesome sight. "Take heart, my son." He gazed up at the stars. I will find a way." A bar lowered across the doors of the field. Boom! And I awoke in a cold sweat. I was still feeling shaky the next morning when Chiron called a war council. We met in the sword arena, which I thought was pretty strange, trying to discuss the fate of camp while Miss O'Leary cheered on a light-sized squeaky pink rubber yak. Chiron and Quintus stood at the front of the weapons racks. Clarice and Annabeth sat next to each other and led the briefing. Tyson and Grover sat as far away from each other as possible. Also present around the table, Juniper was there, the tree nymph. Selena Beauregard, Travis and Connor Stoll, Beckendorf, Lee Fletcher, even Argus, the 100-eyed security chief. That's how I knew it was serious. Argus had hardly ever showed up unless something really major is going on. The whole time Annabeth spoke, he kept his 100 eyes trained on her so hard his whole body turned bloodshot. "Luke must have known about the labyrinth entrance," Annabeth said. "He knew everything about camp." I thought I heard a little pride in her voice, like she still respected the guy as evil as he was. Juniper cleared her throat. That's what I was trying to tell you last night. The cave entrance has been there a long time. Luke used to use it. Selena Beauregard frowned. You knew about the entrance, and you didn't say anything?